My name is Maren Borkert. I'm Professor for Digital Entrepreneurship and Innovation Management, and I'm coordinating the Germany research of the Fairwork project. We all depend on digital platforms, so every time you order lunch online, you book a ride to the main station. You are benefiting from services booked through digital platforms, and the people who work there, they belong to the so-called gig economy or platform economy. And what the Fairwork project is doing is having a look on the working conditions of these workers. Distinguish that platform work is not platform work, so it falls into two main and broad categories. The one is the gig work, the platform work, which is geographically tethered work. It is delivered in person, so this requires a geographical proximity between the customer and the workers. These are services just like ride-hailing, cleaning, caring, food delivery, beauty services, all kinds of stuff. And the other work is cloud work. And this is work that is delivered independently of geographical proximity. These are services related to design, to translating, to filling in surveys and training AI systems. And what's important to remember is that the working conditions and the risk for workers, they differ greatly between cloud work and platform work. And the Fairwork project is focusing on this platform work because it has this analog, this physical outlayer. So we have different types of digital platforms who are active in the ride-hailing sector, something that perhaps you know from Uber, but also Clever Shuttle are companies and platforms that we would look at. Then we have domestic services, cleaning and caring, like in Germany, these are Betreut.de, right, or CareShip. These are companies that we would look at. And then we have, of course, food delivery services, such as Flink or Gorillas. Amazon is, of course, also delivery services. E-commerce is a phenomenon that exists already for quite some years, and companies know, retailers, traders, they know they would need a kind of website to put their stuff, their goods and their services online so that people can order from it. But something like the pandemic that we experienced is, of course, fueling into this trend. They spotted a business opportunity here because the market was there, the demand was there, and then they said, okay, let's put up a digital platform. We can provide a supply that is competitive in the market, and yet fast delivery and low costs are, of course, essential for having a competitive business. And at the same time, we could see that they went up scaling very, very quickly, and the workers were the one who were then starting for gaining public attention, social media attention. Why? Because they were lamenting about their working conditions. You know, you could see them protesting in the streets. A lot of people joined, a lot of people got interested, so they gained really huge media attention. And this is also when the platform needed to understand we cannot scale without our workers. So a lot of researchers are highlighting the difficulty or the problem that there might be a parallel world of new working conditions emerging. Why? Because very often digital platforms, they circumvent obligations to provide workers with employment rights, something like working hour regulations or sick pay, or the right of collective bargaining. The platform work in Germany is lauded for its flexibility, and it requires a very limited knowledge of German as well. So why? Because flexibility, platform work not necessarily requires specific occupational licenses, okay? So it's particularly attractive for students, it's particularly attractive for migrants, for all those who are facing barriers and accessing standard employment markets. So we are looking on this kind of work in Germany because we want to understand the new digital economy that is arising in Germany as well. But of course, it's not limited to Germany only. So we have a consortium that is active in 28 different countries. It's reviewed by researchers from all around the world. What we find in Germany is peculiar to Germany and it's solid findings, so it can be reviewed from different parts of the world and still be recognized as being a valid insight in research-wise, right? What we are doing is we are gathering this information through desk research. We are talking to workers from the different platforms, and based on the first insights, we are preparing a kind of preliminary ranking. And with this preliminary ranking, we are then approaching the platform managers. And we say, listen, these are our 5 principles, and this is the evidence that we found. Can you prove this? Can you testify this? The first one is fair pay. So when you're guerrilla workers, you want to make sure that you are fairly paid. But what is fair payment really meaning to you? Well, what we are looking at is, of course, minimum wage. So it's not minimum wage and then the worker has to pay for travel, has to pay for clothes, has to pay for everything related to the services. It is without. So it is really the minimum wage of the minimum wage. All extra costs must be taken away. The second are fair conditions. Here we are asking for health and safety regulations, if they are met for the workers, because very often what we see also in international comparison is that digital platforms do not provide health and safety regulations, right? The third is a fair contract. This is also important. Why? Because very often platforms just provide terms and conditions, where workers can tick, yes, I agree to the terms and conditions of the platforms, yet it's not a specific working contract. And you know that contract law in Germany is quite explicit. The fourth principle is fair management. So anti-discrimination plays an important role. Think about a person ordering cleaning services in the household. The worker comes in, he or she not necessarily knows who the customer is, yet he or she delivers full services. Very often what we know is that these are women with a migrant background. So the platforms have to make sure that anti-discrimination rules apply here as well. Fair representation, this is the fifth principle that we are looking at. And here we are asking also if workers do have channels to communicate to the platform, to communicate their concerns, to communicate questions around health issues. If you're a guerrilla worker and you have to carry your luggage of 20 kilos every day for hours and hours and hours, and you depend on it because this is your basic way of earning an income in this country. So these are the 5 principles we are looking at. And for each of the principles, we are granting maximum 2 points. And if a platform is really exceeding the minimum and going for the extra point, really being concerned about the health and safety regulations of the workers, providing good seats if it's about to driving, a rest position for an arm, all kinds of things, because they're really concerned, then the platform receives an extra point. So in total, the platforms can receive 10 points at maximum. So after the first year, most of the platforms are where they have been ranked, even if they did not want to talk to us, even if they did not want to be interviewed by us, we rank them nonetheless. So after the first year, they are aware that they have been ranked. And this triggers quite some incentive for collaboration. So the second year, they are much more open when it comes to discussing our findings. And some really take it from the sporty side and say, yeah, but this is a point we would like to get, and I think we can get. Yeah, Clever Shuttle was the winner of the ranking of 2020, so the first annual ranking that we launched in Germany. They really try to create good working conditions for the drivers. They obtain special training. The cars are equipped in a way that it respects the health conditions of the drivers, and all these kind of things which seem to be little things, but it's about providing a working environment to workers that is respectful to their health, that is respecting their wishes and needs. So our idea is that by promoting these kind of companies, we are stimulating also more and more awareness. We are having fair coffee, fair trade. We have organic food markets, right? This was impossible 20 years ago.